Before we start today's episode, I want to tell a story. At the end of last year, the three of us were all together again for the first time in so long to chat, and we put together a pretty great episode, and that episode went up. So I posted the audio, and then I didn't post the video until a few weeks later, but they were both edited, and I posted the video, and I put the video up. And I looked at the video and the audio, the two different ones, and I'm like, the audio is strangely 30 minutes longer than the video version. Guys, I uploaded the raw audio file and just posted that. And then the video version is actually the edited episode.
That's not good.
For the longest time. So if you listen to our last episode, if you listen to it on Spotify, Apple Music, or any like audio streaming services, you heard a very different thing. Like all of our pre-talk, preamble stuff before we actually started the episode is in there. The like long, awkward pauses while you guys are trying to like figure out answers to things, or like we were like in between talking about stuff. Yeah, it is just there's like a good 4 minutes of dead space throughout. Like if you add it all up together in that recording.
All the stuff where it's like, yeah, I'm gonna like commit this crime and do this, and I'm gonna
exactly.
Cut that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we were feeling very riotous last episode too.
No, we were very chill. Remember, no, you were like, it's a chill day today. It's chill. I think we were very spaced, honestly, in that episode.
Okay. Well, I mean, it was post-election. I think we were all just kind of hurt.
But this is not a political podcast, Noah. I'm not disagreeing with you, but this is not a political podcast.
Continue to make it.
But yeah, anyways, that's just my fun little thing. If anybody wanted to poke fun at that before we get started, let's get it out of the way.
Mistakes happen. I forgive you.
Oh, thank you. You forgive me. Thank you. Your forgiveness means the world to me. I did after watching Conclave, I reflected on it, I prayed, and I'm happy to have your forgiveness.
I would understand that reference if I'd watched Conclave.
It's about the Catholic Church. It's about the Pope and the cardinals and the bishops. Yeah.
Can't go well.
Anyways, Noah, you want to take it away?
Oh, roll the intro.
Hello and welcome to 21st Century Cinema. It's the podcast about film and the film industry. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Joseph Delavecchia, and joining me today for the second episode in a row are both of my lovely co-hosts. Last time, I did not give them each a fun, creative intro that is different than any other intro I've ever given them, so bringing that trend back around. So first off, she pitched the idea of this show 6 years ago and is back now to continue right where we started. It's Jamie Crivello.
Hello. What do you mean by right where we started? As in we haven't grown at all in 6 years? What do you mean by that?
No, I mean that we started, the show premiered with an Oscar nomination episode. Today we're doing the Oscar nominations. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I take back the hostility. Hello. Okay. Welcome.
And also joining us today is the one friend my close friend group won't shut up about how much they love him. It's Noah Shepard.
That's really sweet.
This is not a lie. This is like the amount of times people like fucking mainly Alexa and Scott talk about how much they love you and Riley. But
that's
also,
sweet.
I know you messaged Alexa about hockey last weekend because I got texts. Yeah, Noah's messaging me about hockey. I'm like, that's great, cool.
Alexa, very few people I know watch the PWHL, which they should. It's great.
They're going to another game next weekend.
Yeah, I saw that Alexa had posted it, and so I was like, you know what? Yeah. So I want to talk about the PWHL. Go Victoire.
Noah's like my one only extended outside friend that everybody always loves, and then everybody always wants to talk about as well too.
That's sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah. My family did also get a kick, Noah, of you saying that my niece looks like my father.
You can't tell them that.
I can tell people whatever I want. You're like the golden child, okay? You need to understand this. They'll never be mad at you. They love you so much.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, listen, I just call it like I see
it. Anyways, hi guys. It's good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you too, buddy.
Yeah, this is kind of a crazy thing with us being on hiatus and all on different coasts. It's really hard usually to get the three of us together, but 2 episodes in a row. Look at that. Have our lives become that depressing these days, or?
My frontal lobe is now fully developed, so it's all just, I got nothing better to do.
You haven't turned 25 yet. Oh, yeah, you just turned 25 the other week. Yeah.
Yep.
It's weird because I always do like the math in my head of like I'm a year older than you, so I'm like I'm still 25, so you're not 25. No, your birthday's in January. Yeah. How was your birthday, Noah?
Good. I play board games, which is
Very
my
nice.
favorite thing to do. So that was very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Riley made me a Kinder themed birthday cake.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I like Kinder chocolate a lot, so that was great.
When you eventually come back to Ontario one day, we'll have to take you. Jamie took us when we were visiting Ontario for the holidays to a board game cafe in her neck of the woods in Hamilton, and it was a really awesome board game cafe, and we had a lot of fun. We were there for like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Board game cafes are great when you get a good one.
Exactly. I was about to say they're very hit and miss, and
Yeah.
I haven't found a good one in I think ages. I heard the one in Waterloo is good. I just haven't been to it, but I've heard it's good from multiple people. I think Jamie also said that too.
Yeah,
we
but then
were
you have
talking.
to go to Waterloo.
Yeah.
I don't go to Waterloo. I've never been there.
Okay.
I
And somebody
refuse.
else told me that the Waterloo. I've heard from like 3 different people that the Waterloo
Jamie
one in
cannot be
Ontario.
associated with Waterloo.
Yeah, even like whatever. I'm doing grad school applications in big math schools, Waterloo, and all my professors are like, "Why didn't you apply there? Why are you not applying there?" And I have to tell all of them like, I do not like that city. Don't make me live there. I do not want to live there.
Yeah.
Nah, it's not fun. I have to go there for work sometimes for client visits when I'm in Ontario because we've got some clients out there, and it's not a fun city. I agree. You also got to drive on the 401 to get there. No,
Yeah.
the 401 is crazy. I laughed though so hard when Noah came down for the wedding and we picked him and his partner Riley up, and we had to go onto the 401 to get around to the highway to get back onto the 403. Riley was just like in awe of what our highways were.
Yes.
Compared to Newfoundland, because the 401's just freaking huge.
We have one highway.
Yeah.
It's called the highway. Well, no, we have the Trans
Newfoundland
Canada.
highway.
There's like little ones that branch
I
off.
don't understand how you guys have the fucking Trans Canada when you have to fucking stop to take a fucking ferry to the other side.
It's-
You guys don't have the Trans Canada.
It's a
fucking bullshit.
symbolic Trans Canada.
Anyways, as I mentioned before, 6 years ago, we started the show and we kicked it off with a breakdown of the 2019 Academy Awards. And if you haven't listened to that yet, don't bother. It's our second worst episode of this show because we didn't know what we were doing fully.
What's the worst episode?
We've talked about this before. I think Jamie and I both agree on what the worst episode of this show has been.
What is it? I forget.
It's the Pixar Theory episode. I think it's 8 or 9.
It was
It's
just
the
very
worst.
like read from script.
So context and backstory is that we in the beginning of the podcast we were like really trying to like grow it and everything, and so we put up a poll on our Instagram and kind of let followers pick what our next episode would be. So we let people pitch ideas, and then we took like whatever we had and we put them into a poll. And for some reason, like there were like 3 other topics on there that I was like, these would be great. This is probably what we're gonna get. These are gonna be such great topics. And people picked the Pixar Theory, and we were like, okay, we'll try to make something out of it. We made like a 20-minute episode. Like it is our shortest episode. It is our worst episode. Like there's nothing really to talk about the Pixar Theory. I'm sorry, like there isn't.
Sure.
And so that is our worst episode of this show.
I will apologize because I think that was my suggestion.
I know it wasn't yours. It was
prior.
I think it was one of Jamie's friends from high school at the time. I do know that. I don't remember which one it was, but I do remember that it was one of Jamie's friends that asked us to do the Pixar.
Okay, I'll pass the buck. That's no problem.
I'll have to find out who it is so I can cut them off, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
I can go back into the Instagram archives. I can find out who suggested the Pixar.
That's a toxic personality. Cut them from your life.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, so that's the worst episode of this show. So don't go back and listen to either of those episodes. Just stick with us right here, right now, as we're going to break down the Oscar nominations, because guys, this is one of the most controversial years in a while.
Yeah.
No, you have no idea what's going on, do you?
Not a fucking clue. I saw Nosferatu and it was great and it's not nominated. So man, I don't know.
All right, I guess I'll take this one away. So have you guys heard about Emilia Perez?
Oh, yes, I have heard of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Emilia Perez is the most controversial film of the year, but also the most nominated film at the Academy Awards this year with 13 nominations, which is an insane thing that the film with the most controversy and the lowest Rotten Tomato score of any other Best Picture nominated film this year is the most nominated. Now, I personally have not seen it. However, the reason why I haven't seen it is because I've heard how bad it is. It is a musical. It is an international film. It's entirely in Spanish. It is a Mexican film with very little Mexican representation.
Hold up. It's made by a French filmmaker, and I think mainly an American studio. So I don't know if it counts as being a Mexican film because the guy that wrote and directed
nominated for international.
Is actually French. Okay.
Is it nominated for international?
We're gonna check right now.
I don't think it is. I think the Brazilian film is the one.
Yes, it is. International film. International films are The Girl with the Needle, Amelia Perez, I'm Still Here, The Seed of the Sacred Fig, and Flow.
I'm Still Here.
Is nominated as a French film, not as a Mexican film. Which I feel like adds another weird layer of why is this story written by? Why did a French cis man decide to write this story? And I don't know. It's
so it's a story about Mexico and Mexican people. It's based on true events, but it is very little Mexican representation and heritage between the film itself and the actual actors and cast. And it's a musical where apparently the songs are not very good. I have not heard them, but from what I have heard from general consensus, people are not fans of the music. So much so that the Academy is not allowing original song to be performed live on stage this year because Amelia Perez has 2 nominations in that category.
Now, wait a second, Joe, you haven't heard that song, Vaginoplasty, it's called? You haven't heard that one? It's so.
If you were to say to me right now, if Noah were to say, Joe, is Jamie telling the truth or doing a bit? I would say Jamie's doing a bit. That sounds fake to me.
Like the best line in that song, the catchiest line, it goes like this: "From penis to vagina." Legitimately.
I have not. It's okay. It's a marvel that this is nominated. From what I've heard, I haven't seen it because I don't want to put myself through that.
But also too, as well, I want to acknowledge before we just keep talking about this is that another one of the controversies as well is the trans representation in this film and how it is handled and displayed. There is a trans a member of the trans community playing the lead role, so it's not in the sense of the casting, but it is, however, with the actual way it is handled, has also been subject to a lot of controversy. Once again, I have not seen it, so I cannot properly talk about that. I'm also not a member of the trans community, so I cannot properly talk about that.
You tell me that French cis guy didn't nail it?
French cis guy did not nail it, though. Shocking, I know.
What a surprise.
I will say, the bare minimum is having a trans woman play a trans woman, and they did that. And, low-key, I don't think she's a good actress. So, I feel like it was just, who is a trans actress who exists? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And is vaguely Latina. I haven't seen it either, and part of me is maybe I'll watch it and it's actually amazing, and just everyone else is I don't know, too busy picking their ass or something, they're missing something that's going on. But I've seen the songs and I've seen clips, and it looks not good. I'd say that, not good. I think the song that's nominated is I forget what it's called, but it's the one that Zoe Saldana sings.
There's 2 songs nominated for it. So the 2 songs that have been nominated, I have all the nominations up right here because I figured we would probably need them when it came to all of this. So for original song, the 2 for Amelia Perez are El Mal from Amelia Perez, and the second one is Mi Camino.
Yeah, so the one I've heard and is allegedly quote unquote the better of the 2 is El Mal, and it's so not good. It's kind of like if Lin-Manuel Miranda was untalented and tried to write Hamilton. It's a really bad kind of rap sing, no melody, I don't know. It's lacking substance. It's bizarre.
Because Lin gets away with it because he's got some pretty actually decent wordplay. And while he himself isn't a fantastic, exactly. He himself is not a super fantastic performer, but he's very good. He's great, very good at writing music.
Yeah,
unless it's for a Disney film, a live action Disney film, I should say. His animated work is great.
Wait,
Moana parodies that movie.
What did he write that you don't like?
The 2 original songs for the Little Mermaid live action, and all the songs for the new Lion King Mufasa.
Oh, people love the songs from the new Lion King movie.
I know people are really liking the ones from Mufasa. I know I'm in a minority there. Not a fan.
This is maybe just a tangent, but I feel like what I just hear people complain about with that movie is that it wasn't 2D animated, that they went with that weird, uncanny 3D animation.
stupid.
But I think besides that, the songs, from what I've heard, they sound like catchy and kind of on par with the vibe.
They're very Lin songs. They are very Lin songs
Yeah,
when you look at them and hear them. Yeah.
Anyways, back to the Academy Awards, perhaps.
Yeah. No, we can talk about Lin-Manuel Miranda. I love him. Warriors is streaming everywhere now. Latest concept album. Check it out. Anyways, but yeah, Amelia Perez, very controversial, and it will come up a lot as we talk about these nominations. But as always with this show, we're going to go through the nominations, talk about what movies we've seen, and what we think is going to win, and if we think there's been any snubs in these categories as well.
There have.
So many.
Now, usually
all the movies I saw this year.
Usually we kick things off with Noah Shepherd leading us to talk about the best animated feature film breakdown, those nominees.
Yes.
But we have a very rare year this year where, Noah, you haven't seen much of animation.
I've seen 2 of the nominees.
Mm-hmm. So usurping your position as animation expert this year, mainly because she requested it to go off about Wallace and Gromit and the tragic future of Wallace and Gromit. Jamie Carvello, please take it away with animated feature film category, our nominees and your thoughts.
Okay, wait. Who are the nominees? The page I was looking at didn't include the.
Just scroll down one page on the doc. It's right. Yeah.
That's so. Oh, you're so prepared. Yeah. So I guess I've seen 4 out of 5 of them. I have not seen this flow. I haven't even really heard of it, but
I've heard good things about it.
Yeah, this is the one that's nominated for best international film as well too.
Yeah. So I think it's just a matter of, because it's international, it wasn't marketed the same way here, so I only became aware of it after it gets recognition, like from after coming out. Wallace and Gromit. I love.
Do you want to read off the nominees first?
Oh, so true. Okay, sorry. So we have Hello. We have Inside Out 2. We have Memoir of a Snail. We have The Wild Robot, and then Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, and foul spelt like
bird.
Like bird, yeah. That's the word.
Yeah, like hunting fowl.
Bird is the word. Yeah, well, I got too excited about Wallace and Gromit. I actually I didn't realize it came out when it did, because it was, I think, straight to like streaming type of thing.
Yeah, I think it was Netflix.
But I was waiting for it to be in theaters, and I just was too stupid to check or keep up. I think Wallace and Gromit is exactly what it needs to be. It's I don't know, the best goofy, everyone can enjoy it. I am literally Wallace and Gromit. And they brought back the evil, it's not a spoiler because it's in the title, the evil penguin guy that was in, I forget what it's called, but the second Wallace and Gromit movie, which I really like. That's really funny. It was just cheeky and awesome. But what's kind of sad is they're running out of Gromit clay. So there's very specific clay that they use for Wallace and Gromit. It does have a specific look, but it's something to do with how they can get it very smooth and malleable without quickly, I don't know, a balance of looking finished and still being malleable. But that company went out of business that made that specific clay 15 years ago maybe. So they've had a stockpile of the clay they use for the different characters in the background. And in this film, they used up all of their Gromit clay. They have no more Gromit color.
No more Gromit.
No, the substance Gromit is made of, it doesn't exist anymore. No more Gromit. So I feel like we should really cherish this movie because it's the last true Gromit. Any other Gromit we see is a sick and twisted and nefarious imitation that is not to be trusted.
So
fake ass Gromit.
2 things to say. The first one, I think I've said this before on this podcast, and it usually gets the classic "Shut up, Joe." I've never liked the Wallace and Gromit movies. I have only seen the first one.
Idiot.
I hated it. And
wait, so you wait, by the first one, do you mean the moon one? Where they go to the moon and they're like, "It's cheese."
Yes.
How can you not like that? He's literally
no.
I want lots of cheese. Do you think the moon is made out of cheese? And then they go to the moon, and it is. But then there's a robot that's all sad there. I feel like that's such a great concept. He gets all the cheese he wants, but there's this robot that's gonna whatever. I won't spoil the first Wallace and Gromit movie in case anyone is really invested in that.
I love
maybe the second thing to say though was that Jamie, you said when we originally were talking and planning this this part of the episode, you said, "I am so Wallace and Gromit pilled." And I have not heard that slang before. Is that the same thing as saying coded?
Well, The Matrix.
Yes.
You know how you take like the red pill or the blue pill?
Yeah.
So it started off as like incels or like people that are
Okay, I've heard red
anti-society being
pill.
like,
Yeah, I've heard that. Mhm.
So it's just a play on that it's like, oh, I'm so like
Okay.
I've taken this thing and now it is so ingrained into me and I have an understanding that everyone else has not awakened to.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
Wallace and Gromit, I get it. Joe, you aren't there yet. You need to
I'm
take
not
the
there.
Wallace and
Yeah,
Gromit
no.
pill and become
Okay.
Wallace and Gromit pilled.
You gotta take the pill, but you gotta do it soon because they're out of
They're ready.
grommets.
They're out of
They're ready.
Gromit.
You can take the Wallace pill only.
They've run out of grommets. To be fair, though, Joe is very, very Wallace coded.
He is. Even like the kind of sweater shirt, this
Oh,
collared,
absolutely.
almost knit
What I'm wearing
collar
right
thing.
now.
Yeah,
Did I show?
Wallace would
I
wear
picked
that.
this today. I'm like, I'm gonna look good for the podcast episode. This is the only thing I have going on today. I was like, I'm gonna look good for this episode. I'm gonna wear this nice new sweater that I got for Christmas, this cardigan, and
Yeah.
turns out I've set myself up.
Oh, this isn't
Yeah.
hate. Like Wallace is
No.
spiffy. He's always got that nice sweater vest on. He's like
Wallace is the human. I only saw this movie once,
Yeah.
many moons ago. Wallace
Yeah.
is the human.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
It'd be messed up if the person was named Gromit. Actually, I don't know. I guess
that
that
would
might be a
be
normal
funny,
name
though.
for
Like,
for
I could see
the
that.
UK. British people might be out here being named Gromit. I don't really know.
That's true. Who knows?
It's
But
okay.
to name
most
your
of our-
dog Wallace seems messed
Most
up.
of our Europe listeners are in Germany, so you're not annihilating any audience right
Well-
now. I don't think.
I hope we're not
could be
annihilating them.
Christ, yeah, no, fuck, wrong word.
Because like, yeah,
It's
you're
almost
not
as bad as the
killing
time I
Europe.
said Knuckles the enchilada. We're not a political podcast. We're not annihilating anyone. Move on.
Okay, another claymation movie, Memoir of a Snail. For the longest time, I kept seeing clips, and I was like, "This looks so amazing," and I watched it, and it is. It's really awesome, and it's very like touching and relatable, and like I don't know, I really like it. The only thing about it, it makes it seem as if, like Canberra, it makes it seem like if you live there, you're living in like the 1930s, like pure poverty, everything's gray and depressing there. And I learned that it actually does not take place that far back in time. It's like semi-modern day. It just like looks so abysmal the way they made it seem like living in Canberra is. But yeah, I think it's a great movie that honestly, out of all of these, I think the ones that deserve it the most, I haven't seen Flow. But I do feel like Memoir of a Snail kind of deserves it. The Wild Robot is really great as well, but Memoir of a Snail, I feel like I keep saying it weird, is more it's different than like things that are normally nominated. And it's also like it's a different type of story, it's a different type of art. It has just a different tone to it than animation typically has. So I feel like it's paving the way for more things in that type of genre and for animation to branch out into different types of movies and not just like family friendly type of yeah. But The Wild Robot was also very good. Like
So
I can see that winning as well.
what's also interesting just about this too is that Flo won the Golden Globe.
Yeah, apparently
Yeah.
Flow is fantastic.
Mhm.
I haven't seen it. I've only seen The Wild Robot. I haven't even seen Wallace and Gromit yet. I've been waiting to watch it with friends though.
Wait, have you
I've
only seen The Wild Robot and Inside Out 2?
Yeah,
Why did
Yeah.
you go see Inside Out 2?
because people asked me, "Hey, you want to go see Inside Out 2?" And I said, "Sure." And it was okay. It was okay.
I doubt that, but okay.
It was
Yeah,
okay.
I watched it when it went to streaming. I just had the letdown of like the whole time she has this deep dark secret and there's like some like, oh, she has like a weird obsession with these girls, and I was like, oh, she's gonna be gay, and that wasn't what it was. So I'm like,
Disney would never.
okay, so what's the point here?
After the Lightyear kiss incident? Come on.
But yeah,
But yeah,
realistically,
yeah.
if Wallace and Gromit wins, that's hilarious.
Well,
That's hilarious. That's funny to me.
That's like the video of fucking Miyazaki. The video of him being like so disappointed, and the reason I think he hasn't been to the Oscars since the first time he was nominated was because Wallace and Gromit beat Howl's Moving Castle, and he was so fucking angry about it.
Something about it is so funny
Yeah.
because like
Well, 'cause-
it's so camp and
Wallace
cheesy,
and Gromit:
so
The Curse
it's-
of the Were Rabbit won
Yeah.
for Best Animated Feature.
and
That's a
he's
good one, though.
angry. He's so angry, and all you hear is the Wallace and Gromit music blasting in the background. It's fantastic.
Guys, maybe he actually stole the rest of the grommet clay. Sabotage.
He's Feathers McGraw.
He's Feathers McGraw. I think that's everything I have to say on animation there.
Okay. All right. We can move on then to, who does everyone think is going to win? I'm going to say either Flo or The Wild Robot. I think it'll probably be Flo just because it won the Golden Globe, and one of my friends who was in animation went and saw Flo, and he really liked it as well and said it was his favorite animated film of the year. So I'm going to trust Elio's word, and I'm going to say that Flo is going to win, I think.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah, me too. If not Flo, The Wild Robot.
Yeah, Wild Robot's definitely the runner-up.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on. Thank you, Jamie, for usurping Noah. Noah, do better next year.
I've listened. I should have. I really should have. I should have just watched more. But I didn't go to the theater a lot this year, as we established in the previous episode.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about writing original screenplay. The nominees are Anora, The Brutalist, A Real Pain, September 5th, and The Substance. Now, this is original, not adapted, so we have a lot more to talk about in the adaptive section, but I want to talk about A Real Pain, written by Jesse Eisenberg, also his directorial debut. I talked about this a little bit in our last episode, but as I said, when it comes to directing, I think this movie, Jesse is really trying too hard to be like Wes Anderson, but for the writing, I think it is stupendous. And we kind of had this conversation in the last episode where Jamie is talking about a really good writing is like when it's like you're listening in on a conversation, you're just eavesdropping. It feels so natural. And that's what so much of this movie is. It's very raw and real. It deals a lot with death and grief and finding your kind of like place. And there's just a lot of just really organic moments that don't necessarily move the story along. It helps move the characters and get you a better sense of the characters. But there's this very sweet moment where they find their grandmother's old house in Poland, and they go there and they're doing like this tradition out on the front steps, and this neighbor sees them and starts yelling at them saying, "You can't be here, you can't be doing this." And it's just a very like organic interaction that they have. They have to like find a translator to communicate, and it's like a 3 to 4 minute scene. Like you could cut it out of the movie and the movie would still be the same, very impactful. But it's just a very nice, organic moment that's in there. And the movie's just filled with these little things. And overall, I just think it's a really, really great writing. It's honestly, it's kind of inspiring as well, too, I think. Like, I really think Jesse Eisenberg showed his stuff as a writer here. And I'm very excited for whatever he writes and does next because, like I said, it's just very real and it very much makes a connection with you. And it's simple, point A to B in this story. Very straightforward.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but the idea of like Jesse Eisenberg writing like conversations and stuff, he like is, quite an awkward guy and kind of has a reputation for being that way. But I imagine that would make it seem more real, his writing, even because it like I haven't seen it, so I'm making assumptions. Perhaps it doesn't shy away from being awkward at times or like being not the most perfect dialogue and stuff, because I do feel like people that are more awkward or like not as socially adept are more aware of the rules other people follow and how the natural way of like how you actually want to talk type of thing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And both he and Kieran Culkin are just fantastic acting and bringing the script to life as well too.
Yeah, Kieran Culkin has that sort of delivery, right, where he can kind of sell anything with the way his reads go.
I actually was I saw Searchlight posted this, but apparently Kieran Culkin dropped out of the film 2 weeks before they were supposed to start shooting and didn't want to do it anymore. And it was Emma Stone that convinced Kieran Culkin to do it and to not leave Jesse hanging. And now they're nominated for a bunch of not only Golden Globes and I believe Kieran won the Golden Globe, but they're also nominated for a bunch of Academy Awards too.
I know that because he was at wrestling the next night.
As for the other writing nominees, like I haven't seen September 5th or The Brutalist either. The Brutalist is like out in theaters right now. I intend to see it before the awards.
Yeah, me too. The Brutalist is just getting such rave reviews. It's just like it's 3.5 hours long and it's a Holocaust movie. Like it is going to be a fucking time. I have no doubt that it's amazing, but you definitely got to be in the right headspace to go watch it.
I do have some hate prepared for it, pre-prepared, but we'll get there when we get to the acting segment, I suppose.
Okay.
So yeah, I can't really speak on most of the nominees. I really think The Substance deserves to win, but I don't think it will, for the same reason I think it deserves to win. Because the writing is not natural. It's very surrealist and very like, I don't know, I feel like it's so good and it's so unlike anything else. It's surrealist, and where it departs from where you expect or where the norm is creates very specific intentional emotions that you couldn't do unless you chose to do it this non-conventional way. And I feel like because it's so aware of how you can change different elements of the story and even the way people are talking and just to create these really wrong feelings, because that's not the way it's supposed to be. I don't know, it's very intentional with, I feel like, everything that is written. There is no filler. There is nothing that's like, well, it makes sense for them to say this because that's not the point of this movie. It's not a slice of life, here's relatability. Nothing in it is real. Like the way people talk, the way the TV shows work, like nothing in it is real. Like there's no daytime aerobic show that is that important in real life. Like that doesn't happen anymore.
Well, also too,
yeah,
I think it also depends, and this is something that we don't know or have access to, is that like this is also for the screenplay, and there's so much more to a screenplay than just the dialogue. There's the direction, the descriptions, like the scenes, the staging. There's so much about it that we don't see or get to kind of like have that view going into this category that the Academy does. And so, like you said, it's very deliberate. So it depends also on how that stuff is set up in the screenplay that could either give it more of a chance or hurt it even more.
I feel like with The Substance, the way everything happens, I feel like it's all in the screenplay. Like there's a scene of Dennis Quaid eating shrimp really grotesquely. That's definitely in the screenplay. But that plays such a huge role. The fact that someone eating shrimp is the most grotesque thing in the entire film. Even though you have like, people coming out of other people's spines and green goo, like you have really grotesque things. Yet this awareness and intentional, like, I don't know. That's also maybe a testament to the directing, but the fact that was written into the screenplay and just, I don't know. There's a lot going on here, and I think it's incredibly intentional and incredibly unconventional and surrealist. And I also love like surrealism, and I want to see it make a comeback, or maybe even like, I feel like it hasn't been huge in Western media yet, so I want it to just be a thing because it was huge in Japanese films, in the 60s, 70s. So anyways.
No, you saw The Substance, right? No, you didn't.
Joe. So I've seen and have
you seen one movie on this original screenplay list?
Sure haven't. And I actually was looking, and I have seen. Let's see.
One of the Best Picture nominees.
I have seen not only one of the Best Picture nominees. I have seen three of them, all of the movies listed here, and two of them we've already talked about in animation.
What's the third? Wait. Let me guess. I have to guess quickly.
It'll be obvious.
Yo, you saw Dune Part 2.
Yeah, I saw Dune Part 2.
Yeah. Hell no.
My eggs were in the Nosferatu basket, and the Academy has never respected horror, which is why, although I would love to see The Substance win, I don't think it will.
I guess before we move on from the original screenplay writing, Anora also deserves to win, and I can very much see it winning.
I think they're going to give Anora either this or directing. They're going to give Sean one of the two, so it's properly acknowledged. That's what I think is going to happen.
But yeah, it's also like different from what has existed and what does exist. So it's does really well at being new and different, and I think that's really important to, I don't know, recognize and be like, hey, this is just as valuable as these other things that are maybe a bit more formulaic. Like, I'm kind of expecting The Brutalist to be like, okay, another Holocaust movie. Like, there's certain things that happen, and there's a certain vibe that is always cultivated, and even down to like the structures of the story and stuff. And just from the trailers and what I've seen about it. I'm sure it's a great movie, but there's always these movies every year towards the Oscars that it's like, oh, it's like one of those movies. Like it has the same vibe as all these. It's nothing that I'll remember in 5 years as being great. Not to say there aren't World War II movies that are like that, like that are special and genuinely different. And anyways, I'll stop rambling.
No, but you're right. I mean, like we do get, quote unquote Oscar bait every year, and one of the best ways to do that is a Holocaust movie.
Yeah,
everybody wants to be Schindler's List.
Yeah. Well, and they will always be compared to Schindler's List too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Next up, still keeping it with writing, we're gonna talk about adapted screenplay. Our nominees are A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Amelia Perez, Nickel Boys, Sing Sing, and Bentley. So I talked about Conclave last time. No, we know you didn't. Jamie, did you get a chance to watch it by any chance?
No, but what I've seen, I think it's overhyped.
Disagree, but I need you to see it so we can properly discuss that.
Yeah.
But I think it's my favorite movie of the year. I really loved it. I thought it was really, really well done. I'm also a big Ralph Fiennes fan, so and I believe he's still been robbed from Grand Budapest. So yeah, I think it's really, really great. Really great story. The way it's told, the acting, just everything about this movie is very, very well done. We've already talked about Conclave, though, before. What I want to talk about is the movie that Noah and I had a bit of a disagreement about that we hadn't seen yet last time. A Complete Unknown, the Bob Dylan movie.
Yeah.
I went and I saw it.
How was it?
It was good. It was good. Now, there is the critique that so they don't shy away from the fact that Bob Dylan was an asshole, but they also just don't really get into it. You learn a little bit about his life, but then it becomes more about like his stardom and rise to fame sort of a thing. And those personal elements are kind of B story.
Yeah.
And not fleshed out very, very much. However, Elle Fanning and the Latina actress whose name I cannot remember right now, who is nominated for Best Supporting, starts with a J. I will look it up and figure it out. She is absolutely fantastic as well. Monica Barbaro. Why did I think she started with a J?
Classically starts with a J.
Yeah, classically starts with a J. Monica Barbaro. She is fantastic in it as well. Everyone acts it. Timothy, whatever you want to say his fucking name. Chalamet completely transforms himself into Bob Dylan. He nails the voice. Like it's so well done. I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was good. I do not think it is the best picture. I could see this being Timothy's best performance of his career. I'd say that.
No.
This and Paul is very, very good.
Immediate. I feel it. No.
No? Well, what would you... Oh, okay.
Here's the thing. Quit it with the biopics. If you're going to do them, Timothy Chalamet is like... He's good for Paul because Paul is famously like charming, handsome, da-da-da-da. Part of Bob Dylan's charm is that he was just some guy. Like he doesn't look like
Timothy just some guy
Chalamet.
That could write.
Yeah, and also with Elle Fanning, like I like they're all the big name actors and actresses, they're big name for a reason and they're all, beautiful and handsome. I felt this way when they just announced the casting for Wuthering Heights. And it's Margot Robbie and like Jacob Elordi, and I'm like, what are we doing? But that's how I felt about this casting for A Complete Unknown. I'm like, I would rather they just cast people who would be good as these roles that are maybe more similar to them or more unknown people, rather than like, let's pick the most beautiful people ever to play these people, even if they don't have the other non-physical aspects that would, like mannerisms, physicality, speech, whatever, that would make them more similar to who they're trying to, like, it kind of, what I've seen, it almost seems like Timothy Chalamet is doing a Bob Dylan impression rather than being Bob Dylan. Whereas like say Rocket Man, I actually watching it, I was like, oh yeah, that's
Taron's amazing as Elton in that. He's so good.
John. But it just seems like he's doing a Bob Dylan impression and I cannot see him as Bob Dylan. And I don't think it's necessarily his fault. I think it's just what he was given and the fact that he is so not Bob Dylan. he is like, even like personality wise, I know whatever, being an actor, but it's just like, it feels like it goes against what he is on, like, there's nothing that ties him to Bob Dylan besides being a white man. And it feels like that to me.
I think what I find recently with biopics, it's more so for me is that I'm not impressed if they completely transform themselves, because we've seen like a lot of people do it. That's kind of like the only thing you need to do for a biopic to get made, it seems.
Yeah.
So like it, we've come a long way from Joaquin Phoenix and Walk the Line, where it's like this which is good casting given the trauma Joaquin had in his past, and Johnny Cash, and also he sounds like him naturally. He can, and he enhances his performance so he's able to embody it. But like, that is a standout performance because at the time that's not really the way biopics were done, and there weren't as many of them.
I agree with that criticism. I agree with that.
I'm kind of hating on this for the writing is like, that doesn't have to be a groundbreaker if that wasn't the point of the movie. That it felt like the writing is just kind of like, here's Bob Dylan and what it was like when he started up. It's not saying something else, where you have biopics that aren't so much about like, well, you love this person, let's talk about this person, where it's about something else, where it's about like loss, or about this, like, this was very much kind of about Bob Dylan and his career, and it didn't sell me on the Bob Dylan or on his career. Like, so I feel like the writing was, I don't know. I haven't seen it. Again, I've only seen clips and stuff, but from that, it's already lost me.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To kind of just, I do agree, like, to the point of like, like the writing is nothing spectacular, to kind of my point. Like, I think the performances are really good, the actors and actresses are really good, but the writing is nothing spectacular. There's nothing groundbreaking right here, to Jamie's point. And I haven't seen Nickel Boys or Sing Sing, so my obvious choice for this category is Conclave, and Conclave also won the Golden Globe, so I think it's going to win it.
I can see that as well.
But I have heard, however, that Sing Sing is really, really great.
It's about, I haven't actually.
That's the one about the prison with the. One second, I want to get the actual proper description of this movie. Based on the true story of a man imprisoned at Sing Sing for a crime he didn't commit. When joined by a wary outsider, he finds purpose staging an original comedy with a theater group of other incarcerated men.
Now, this, I think, by definition, would be a biopic as well, because it's about a specific person and their life. I think this is the kind of biopics like we should be making.
Things that are a lot more like lesser known, and that are like these like empowering stories.
Or it's like, what is this story giving to us? Like, what is, there is a story to tell. It's not just like, I want to learn more about this person because I like them. Like, Bob Dylan didn't have a crazy amount of hardships. Like, whatever. It's kind of the same thing that most folk singers had. Like, whereas this, it's like, wow, that is like an amazing story, and it has something to say about, the prison system and whatever. I haven't seen it, but like reading about it, it seems much more compelling. And
well, that's like did you see a few years ago Just Mercy with Michael B. Jordan about the lawyer who got black men off of death row for crimes they didn't commit, that police just like imprisoned them for and charged them guilty with?
It was very good.
Very, very good. And that right there, like, based on a true story, biopic, but has, like you said, a story to tell and tells us more about the world and things we're just like uneducated about.
That's like Schindler's List is technically a biopic.
I guess if you imagine this Bob Dylan movie, but imagine Bob Dylan wasn't someone you knew, I feel like it wouldn't be a good movie. Like, I feel like part of it is that you know who Bob Dylan is.
Fair.
I think that's fair.
There's another the movie about the fake folk artist.
Yeah, Inside Llewyn Davis.
Yeah, that I feel like that if Bob Dylan had some type of story like that, it's like, okay, well, that is compelling. But that's kind of an example of like, well, here's the general folk artist experience at the time with these other things added in that tells that story that you might want to tell by choosing any of these folk artists. But then I feel the story for Bob Dylan, for a complete unknown, is like lacking. So I feel like within the writing, there's not much room to do things. So maybe that is also a testament to the writing, if it's like genuinely encapsulating and dynamic and whatever, that it was able to do that out of like a mid origin story.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Anyways, I digress.
Moving on to our next category. Actor in a supporting role. Our nominees are Yura Borisov, if I'm saying that right, for Enora, Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain, Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce for The Brutalist, and Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice. We already talked about Kieran. We know he's great. He won the Golden Globe. Edward Norton, I think, is the most forgettable part of A Complete Unknown. Yeah, like he's not bad in it, but he's also like, compared to everyone else in the film, like he really is just kind of there, and his character exists. Like I don't think it's anything outstanding. Jeremy Strong, however, in The Apprentice, and once again, this is me telling everybody to go watch The Apprentice, because yes, I know it's a bit scarier now after the election. I'll get political for 1 second here, Noah. What's happening in the world is scary and not good at all.
Planes are falling out of the sky.
Planes are falling out of the sky, and it's inclusion and equity's fault. But Jeremy Strong is Donald Trump's lawyer in The Apprentice, and holy fuck, that whole entire movie. What makes it so good? And here's like the thing is that it resonates with you just to like, this kind of counters what we just said about Bob Dylan and biopics, but like, yeah, you know who Donald Trump is. And that kind of makes people like eerie about seeing this, but this movie just exposes and shines a light and makes you feel like even more how vile he is. Like, hey, a lot of people are like, oh, when he was the host of The Apprentice, like it was fine, whatever. Like he was just like some celebrity guy. No, he's always been awful. And it's just like even more vile. It makes you so sick to your stomach. And like at the end of this movie, I was just speechless. I was in shock of what I saw, but both Jeremy Strong and Sebastian Stan are so amazing in this film. And it's phenomenal. It's my number 2 movie of the year, The Apprentice. So yeah, Jeremy Strong though, so fantastic. I would put it down to between him and Kieran. If either of them win this, I'm okay.
A note on why this is like a good subject topic for a biopic. It's not just like, here's Donald Trump's story. Yeah. It's more like, here's a story about it's
a commentary piece.
Yes.
It's a commentary piece, and it's also only on like a specific part of his life too. Like it's not the full thing. Yeah. It's very much on how he became like the real estate mogul and built Trump Tower.
Yeah. This list of nominees, borderline like underwhelming, because most of them like did not stick out and are not like, people are not talking about it. People are talking about Kieran Culkin. Jeremy Strong does a great job at like being pathetic and slimy. Like it's so phenomenal down to the way his head is like stuck out and his like the way his eyes shift around, and you know in other roles maybe he's typically pathetic, but he's not always slimy like that. Like it is a great transformation, and I think he does a really good job. And then for Yura Borisov, I mean it was really good. He was really good in Enora, but it was his first role, and it's something I could see that is like the only type of role he could play. So it isn't necessarily a testament to his abilities.
Would you say that he's more here because of how well Enora did and how much it's resonated with people versus his actual acting chops?
I think he was really good, but I could see in other years he would be nominated, but he would be no chance of winning because normally it's stacked. But I think he would like get a nomination in other years. But here, like with Edward Norton and Guy Pearce, like I haven't really heard much about their performances, which is kind of telling because I've heard about their co-stars.
It's at least nice to see Guy Pearce back out around, because I feel like he's been gone for a long time, or at least out of the spotlight, and he's a good actor.
I think
anything about his performance.
Was it 2 years ago that Everything Everywhere All at Once came out, or 3? Well,
2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember when that came out. I'm forgetting the actress's name. Oh my god, and I think I'm forgetting
Stephanie?
Yeah, who played the daughter?
Yes.
I know that was also her big role, but I think it's different there, that I do think she deserved it. Because that is not a role where it's like, that's just who she is in real life. It's like she played different characters on screen and made both of them seem so real and tangible that they felt like different people, even though they were both her.
Yeah, she is like
Yeah.
Had a big Broadway background.
Huh?
So like she's been, I don't know much about Yura, but I know that Stephanie has been, like, I know that her background is still very much in acting. This was just sort of the first big
Yeah.
film role.
Yeah, but I do still feel that she's an outlier, maybe for that reason and for the roles, that when it comes to someone's first big breakout in film, it's rare that they're going to get the award.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, again, I digress. I'll stop my rambling.
They should nominate Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
We should always
For,
nominate Jamie Lee Curtis. But speaking of Jamie Lee Curtis, she did win actress in a supporting role for Everything Ever All at Once. She did win that year.
Yeah.
And let's talk about this year's actresses in supporting roles. The nominees
Actually,
are...
I want to talk about a snub for actor in a supporting role.
Oh, go ahead.
Willem Dafoe and Nosferatu. Are you kidding me?
I didn't see it, so I can't say.
I
He's
feel like
so good.
that's also like partially him. He does a lot of roles like that.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
it's a little tough.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Nosferatu, this is such a side point because it's not even really nominated anywhere. It's maybe got like 2 or 3 categories. But Aaron Taylor Johnson was a little too much. Like,
He's
even if
a
it did
little
got
much.
nominated, he would not have gotten nominated for acting in a supporting role. That was maybe the only performance that I was like,
Yeah.
you can tone down the like improv class expressions going on here, but he was still good. He was still good. I guess I'm just being a hater for no reason. But
I don't know how you would classify Bill Skarsgård.
yeah, as like,
He's
I
the
think you would put
title
him as a
character.
supporting role because he's not.
I think so.
Yeah.
He's also fantastic, but I think that more of that is from the physical transformation and the voiceover rather than.
That's his voice.
Yeah,
I didn't
know
realize
it's
that was
insane.
his voice until
It's
like,
insane.
I was like, yeah, and whoever was doing the voice, that was crazy. And then
Yeah.
whoever I was with was like, that's him. He's doing that voice.
Fantastic, but it's not exactly the type of performance that gets nominated. But you know what? We should highlight it anyway. Bill Skarsgård, what a guy.
Yeah.
I love a good Skarsgård.
Actress in a supporting role.
Yeah.
The nominees are Monica Barbaro, A Complete Unknown, Ariana Grande, Wicked, Felicity Jones, The Brutalist, Isabella Rossellini, Conclave, and Zoe Saldana, Emilia Perez. Zoe did win the Golden Globe. We'll put that out there. As the person who has seen Conclave, I will say that Isabella Rossellini is really, really great in her role. She brings a little bit of light comedy to the role as well. She's definitely a smaller role, I think, compared to of the films that I've seen here, which would be Wicked and A Complete Unknown. She's probably has the least amount of screen time between everyone here, and from what I know about Emilia Perez, like less. So she doesn't have that much screen time, but she does very, very good with the amount of screen time she has, and she leaves an impression very similar to Angela Bassett in Black Panther 2, how she has very little screen time, but she leaves an impression similar to that. I want to say one thing though that might be a little crazy, but I need to say it. Ariana Grande is nominated here for actress in a supporting role for Wicked. And so the first thing is, I was really shocked that they did this with not having both her and Cynthia put up for best actor, like leading, like as headliners. But I'm kind of glad they did it this way. I think it makes more sense to do it this way. But I was just shocked that was their decision. Ariana Grande is now an Academy Award nominated actress, which is a crazy thing to say. And I'm going to go on record right now and say I think it's deserved. I think she did amazing with this role. I think Cynthia did amazing with her role, which we'll talk about when we get to actress. But Wicked is definitely the best like Broadway musical on-screen adaptation since Chicago, which was back in I think 2003.
2002.
I think it's 2002. See, even more.
I don't know. Yeah.
Anyways, I thought Ariana did really, really great with this, and I think it is deserved that she is an Academy Award nominated actress for this. And I'm saying my piece on that.
Listen, as a victorious kid, I'm not surprised. But genuinely, everything I've heard about her performance, and like I know, I've talked to a lot of people about Wicked. I know some people who that's their favorite movie of the year. I've also heard of other people that are like, it was okay. But everything I've heard is that Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande are fantastic. And they carry the movie. Like, they are front and center, the best parts of that movie. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So this category and a lot of the categories, it kind of makes me think like, what are we doing? Because like, what is going on? None of them are crazy standout to me. Like,
Fair.
I feel like there's so many snubs throughout all the nominations. I can't believe the lack of nominations for Dune 2 throughout the whole
I
board.
know.
But like, why Rebecca Ferguson, like Lady Jessica,
Yeah.
why she's not nominated? Like, I that's unfathomable. I don't know what's going on. What is going on? And there's so many other movies that I don't know. I guess we'll get there when we talk about snubs. This specific category, I guess I don't have anyone else that comes to mind,
Mm.
but it's just maybe the most clear example of like, what are we doing? Why is she not nominated? What's going on? Like,
Well, I will
Yeah.
say, like Monica Barbaro, while she is good, I think compared to both Isabella and Ariana, her performance is like pales in comparison. So I think there's that right there. I already talked about Ariana and Isabella. Felicity Jones, while I haven't seen The Brutalist, she's a very good actress. And so it is nice to see like some recognition for her there up on this. Once again, I haven't seen The Brutalist, so I can't say like if this is the performance that earns it or not. And I think this is once again where we get into that conversation of career Oscars and everything. Like,
Yeah.
should Leo
Yeah.
have won for The Revenant, or was it just the Academy finally giving him the Oscar that he
I think
had
it's that
earned so many
they-
other times?
Didn't want him to die.
Yeah.
To be fair, I will say on that one, Leo is really good in The Revenant.
He is really
Whether
good
or
in The
not you
Revenant,
think
but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
should that
is that level.
should that have been the year that he won for that performance? I forget who he was up against, but I think I had somebody else who I thought should have won above him. I'd have to go back and look.
Was that Adam Driver from Marriage Story?
That was not Adam Driver for Marriage Story.
It might have
Okay.
been.
Wait, to go back a category to this actor in a supporting role, someone I think was snubbed, and there's I think, a very shameful thing the Academy has done here, but Adam Pearson from A Different Man was not nominated.
Yeah.
He wasn't even invited to the Academy Awards, but other people from the film were. I don't know.
Absolute bullshit.
He's definitely not the lead actor, so perhaps the supporting actor, but he's like close to being the lead role, and I don't know. It kind of feels ableist. It feels kind of nasty that they would invite other people from the movie, but not him. It doesn't feel right. Something like, what is going on? I'm not a fan of whatever that is.
Yeah, no, that's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit.
Yeah, I get it not being as big of a movie, so that's why it didn't garner nominations. So maybe that's a valid reason, but yeah, the entire lack of invitation doesn't sit right with me.
Just for reference here, Leo was up in 2016 for The Revenant, up against Bryan Cranston for Trumbo, Eddie Redmayne for The Danish Girl, Michael Fassbender for Steve Jobs, and Matt Damon for The Martian. So yeah, no, Leo should have won that year. And So yeah, never mind. But my point just being though, like, you know, there are career Oscars, like Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Absolutely.
That was very much
She
a
should
career
not have won
Oscar.
that year.
Should not have won that year. But yeah, but like then we get into that conversation too, where it's like, okay, like I see the point of like, yeah, these people deserve to have Oscars, but also like it's really hard. And I think the real problem is that the Academy just snubs so many people that should actually be up there or should take that stage.
There's
When
also another
give Lily
huge
Gladstone her day.
For actress in a supporting role, where is Margaret Qualley? Why is she not here also? Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
That is
no kidding.
Like I think she also deserves a nomination for Kinds of Kindness. But again, it's like, oh, that wasn't one of the big movies, so it doesn't garner.
Yeah.
You know. But like, where is she for The Substance? Why is she not here? Like, it was, I think, better than everyone on this list, as well as Rebecca Ferguson from Dune 2. Like, this list just feels like kind of mid to me, that whoever wins, it's like, yeah, like, good job, but it's nothing that is going to be memorable. It's like, there are actors and actresses that have these awards, and you're like, oh, what did they win that award for? This movie. And you're like, oh, right, I forgot they were in that. All of this kind of feels like that, except maybe Ariana Grande and Wicked, because it's like her big film debut type of thing. But
maybe.
Loki, I do not think she deserves to win, but I can see her winning.
Zoe Saldana's gonna win.
Oh,
Probably.
this is a good point.
Yeah,
Probably.
yeah. She cried when she got the Golden Globe. She's gonna win the Oscar.
Actually, the clips I've seen of Amelia Perez, she's like the most forgivable part of it. Like the scenes she's in, some of them I've seen, like, I'm like, okay, no, like this could be a real movie. This could be a respectable movie right here.
Yeah.
She's maybe like one of the few saving graces.
Alrighty, let's move on to our next category: actor in a leading role. The nominees are Adrian Brody, The Brutalist; Timothy Chalamet, A Complete Unknown; Coleman Domingo, Sing Sing; Ray Fiennes, Conclave; Sebastian Stan, The Apprentice. Adrian Brody did win the Golden Globe, is kind of the front runner in this category. However, I've talked about everyone else's performances that I've seen here, so I don't think I need to say anything else, just that my personal pick would still be Ray Fiennes. But then I think that also does get into a little bit of a career Oscar possibly, because I think Sebastian Stan has the better performance of this year. But I think Adrian Brody will probably end up winning. But go ahead with you guys, what you think.
Adrian Brody, you should not be allowed to be nominated here. I think using AI to correct your accent should immediately disqualify you.
Yeah,
Wait,
His
that's a
accent
thing?
is assisted
I did not
by
know about
AI.
this. It
Yes.
is? Okay, yeah, no, I'm with you. Just you should be. Yeah, 100%. What? I didn't know this.
yeah, they
Especially
enhanced
because-
his accent.
Yeah, so many people in the film industry are trying to so actively be against AI. I think that should extend to assisting actors. Like, you should find an actor that can do a better job if he can't do it. If you need to help him with AI, he should not. Yeah.
No, agreed. Oh my gosh, wow. No, I did not know
Absolutely.
that. Holy crap. I
Yeah.
really hope he
Yeah.
doesn't win now.
There's
Wait, let's talk
apparently
about-
some visuals in the Brutalist too that
Oh,
were
yeah.
that were
I did hear about that.
generated.
I was
Generated.
going to save that for Best Picture, but yes, I did hear about that.
You know what the biggest snub here is? That monkey
That monkey,
from Better Man.
better man, monkey.
Okay, I'm joking.
Why is he
I'm
not
joking. Why is he not there? What do they have against monkeys?
Where's the monkey? Huh? Where is
Realistic. Two huge
Is
snubs.
this going to be like the one clip I pull and make like the
It
Instagram
better.
reel for this
Yeah.
episode? It's the fucking you guys just doing
Yeah.
a bit about a monkey.
Where's the
from Better
monkey
Man?
movie? It was the best musical of the year.
If Adrian
actually heard
Brody
that.
can get nominated with AI, why can't an
Yeah.
AI monkey get nominated? Let's
Yeah.
nominate the AI monkey.
I want a monkey.
I think
We should
there's...
probably do an episode about AI in the future. We should probably
We
really
should do a
dig into
monkey.
that.
Yeah, we could do so many episodes on AI.
We do a monkey episode?
Yeah, I would like to do a monkey episode.
Just
The
where we watch all
monkeys in
monkey
film?
movies?
Monkeys. We could do
in
monkeys
film.
in film. That could be a fun
But also,
one.
I disagree with monkeys being in film. So maybe
Yeah, what's-
AI monkeys. That's the conjunction of when
maybe
using
let's
monkeys is
use-
okay and when using AI is okay. Is
That's true.
when they're for each other.
What about Gordy? Gordy should have been nominated. He was terrifying.
Is that the Nope?
Yeah, that's
monkey?
the Nope
Oh
monkey.
yeah.
I like Gordy.
Yeah.
You guys have anything to add to
That's
this
pretty
category
scary.
of these actors at all?
Yeah.
Or are we
Yeah,
just talking about
monkey.
monkeys now?
I have real snubs that like
Yeah.
Timothy
Oh,
Chalamet
okay.
should not be nominated for Complete Unknown.
He should be
He
nominated
should
for
be
Dune
nominated
too.
for Dune.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mhm.
absolutely.
Oh, wait, who was I just thinking of? Oh, what's his name? Nicholas Holt from
Yeah.
Nosferatu.
Oh,
I've never
heard he's
seen
fantastic.
someone seem so terrified without like making a scared face or making like a screaming sound. Like
You
And
can
there's such a-
feel his cold
Mhm.
sweat.
you feel everything, and especially because it's such a range of like, he goes in with, you can tell that he wants to be optimistic at the beginning, but he has the fear the whole time. But you can tell
Yeah.
the exact mix and ratio of the emotions and how it changes over time. Like
It's so
he was
fucking
incredible.
good. So good.
I think he deserves to win, but he's not even nominated, bro.
No, I
What
know.
are we doing?
Go see Nosferatu. Everyone go watch it.
Have you guys seen The Great on Prime with him and Elle Fanning? TV
No,
show
but I've
about
heard it's
Catherine the
good.
Great. It's very great. They're
Yeah.
both fantastic in it. But I was just gonna say, yeah, like Nicholas Holt, very good actor. I've heard he's amazing in Nosferatu, and I'm very excited for him to be Lex Luthor in the Superman movie this
Nicholas
summer.
Holt is good in X-Men. Like he's been good for a long time.
Mhm.
Here's the thing, I don't like him. So that's why
Oh.
the fact I loved him in this role, I'm like, this is amazing. And I wasn't too busy being bothered by him being there is a testament to like I did not
Fair
see it
enough.
as him. Something about him, I'm just like, I don't know. There's something there that's I cannot describe what it is, but I'm not
The
like
ick.
literally yes, and I don't know where it came from. I feel like maybe he reminds me of certain people I know in real life that I do not like, so maybe
Mhm.
his mannerisms or the way he looks or something, which is just an unfair way to judge someone. But
But it happens.
I didn't feel that way in Nosferatu. At first, I was like, oh, like, why did they hire him, bro? What's going on? And I watch it, and I'm like, oh my god, I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
So funny story here.
Is Hutter.
Jamie saying this. I have only ever once been told that I look like a celebrity, and someone said Nicholas Hoult. I don't think I do. Okay.
No.
One person, like in 2017 or 18, said to me, "I think you look like Nicholas Hoult from the X-Men movies." And Jamie just be like, "I don't like Nicholas Hoult. Something with the way he looks and reminds me of people that I know." I'm like, Jesus.
Okay. I don't think you look like him at all. Like
No,
the phenotype he is.
Mhm.
I know at least I can list like 2 or 3 people that are in that phenotype that I really have an issue with. You are not in that phenotype, bro.
Yeah,
so I'm
no.
not.
He
not
looks
worried.
tall.
I just think that was like really funny when you said
He
that,
looks
and I'm
tall.
like,
Maybe
oof.
that's it. Maybe I have an issue with Hull.
Yeah, you're like, I don't want tall people.
But he has a posh accent, so maybe
He
that's
does.
it. That's why I don't trust him.
Mm.
Oh, that's
I don't
true.
think I trust anyone with a posh accent when I come to think of it. That very
mean-
well might be it.
You got Scottish in your veins. That just makes
Yeah,
sense.
maybe that's it. An instinctual distrust.
Your ancestors are just
My
screaming.
ancestral, yeah.
Ancestral rage.
Yeah.
The bagpipes start playing in the back of your mind.
Whenever anyone has a posh accent, yeah.
I'd like to see Coleman Domingo in this. I haven't seen any of these movies. I just like him, and I think he has been talked about enough over his career, so I'd like to see him win.
I do. My cousin saw Sing Sing and raved about it to me and how amazing Coleman specifically is. So I have no doubt that Coleman deserves to be here, and it would be nice to see him win. I just think because Sing Sing hasn't been that popular, that much talked about.
Yeah,
I think the deck is stacked against him. But yeah, no. I think if any of these people won, except for Adrian Brody, now I know about the AI thing. Like Timothy, I do agree should be nominated for Dune over A Complete Unknown. But if he won, he's a very good actor. Okay, I wouldn't be that upset about it. If Coleman won, I think that's great. If Rafe won, yay. And if Sebastian Stan won, well deserved once again. So I think really, as long as Adrian Brody doesn't win this category, I still have faith. Adrian Brody's probably going to win the category.
Yeah.
When was the last time we had a person of color win Best Lead? I'm just checking. It could be recently. I just, off the top of my head, Will Smith in 2021.
Jesus, fuck that year.
What did Will Smith win for? What?
King Richard, the tennis movie about the Williams sisters, and then that's when he slapped Chris Rock, and then they banned him. So next year, to present Best Actress, they asked Harrison Ford to present it. So Harrison Ford presented Best Actress at the Oscars in 2022.
It was also
Right.
that year. That year, you also had Denzel Washington for the Scottish play, which, like, come on, he's so good as that. Denzel,
you love Denzel.
I like Denzel as an actor, but also what I like about Denzel is his delivery of Shakespeare, which is just wild and fantastic.
Wait,
he can sell it.
Hold up, talking about Denzel, like he's also a snub, I think, for Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that.
What was Denzel in this year?
Gladiator 2.
Yeah.
Oh,
and he was like, whatever. I hate on these sandals and sword type movies, maybe too much. But like, I genuinely enjoyed some of the performances, and he was, cream of the crop there. Like, yeah.
Denzel's always fantastic.
I think deserving of a nomination at least.
It's very difficult to find a bad Denzel role. You can find bad Denzel movies.
Think also too. We watched in like high school. We watched the one where he needs the health insurance money, but he can't get it for his kid, and so does he hold like the hospital hostage? I think. Gosh, now I'm like half remembering this movie. But anyways, he was very, very good in this film that I cannot remember now. The name of Denzel movie where he holds up a hospital. Yes. It's called John Q. He's very, very good in that, and I really liked him in that role. It's from 2002. John Q. There you go.
There you go.
Cool.
Everybody
I didn't make up the holds up the hospital part in my head. Moving on.
Yeah.
Actress in a leading role. The nominees are Cynthia Erivo for Wicked, Carla Sofia Gascon for Emilia Perez, Mikey Madison for Honora, Demi Moore for The Substance, and Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here. Now, I'm Still Here is a much smaller film that kind of came out of nowhere with getting some nominations, but I saw a lot of the film Twitter community very happy and excited about that. I have not seen it, but from what I understand, Fernando Torres really does deserve to be in this category. I'll let Jamie talk about Demi Moore and The Substance. Demi also did win, or Demi, am I saying Demi? Fuck.
It's Demi. I've been saying Demi for years, and only
it
during
Demi?
these
Okay, I knew
nominations.
it. Look at
Is
that.
it
The winner
actually
is
Demi?
Demi Moore. I'm like, what the hell?
Anyways,
No
yeah. So
way. Okay.
but I believe she won one of the Golden Globes as well.
Yeah.
And I've said before, Cynthia is really, really great in Wicked, and I think that is also deserved right there too. We talked already a bit about the Amelia Perez controversy and how Jamie kind of went off about the actual acting in the movie, and then Mikey Madison and Honora, from what I understand, is just next level.
Incredible, yeah. And she's like really in the past few years she's been in a few movies, but I swear before that, like, she's kind of come out of nowhere and been a powerhouse. So I would like to see her win. I do think Demi Moore deserves it, but I would really like to see Mikey Madison win. With Carla Sofia Gascon, like,
do we think the Academy will give it to her just because it's the first ever time a trans actress has been nominated?
That's a reason that they won't give it to her, especially with everything that's going on in America right now, that there's such a, that will honestly
go either way.
I feel like if she does get the award, I think people, even if she gets it because of her talent, people will hate on her because they'll be like, well, they just gave it to her. Like, so I don't even want that testament being spoken about, because
is she the next Pia Zadora?
I see so much hate going towards her if she does win. And like, she was not bad, but like, not like, I can think of two people that should have her spot on this list, and it's Zendaya and Zendaya.
For challengers and
challengers.
Yeah.
I also want to throw a name out there for snubs. I like that we're talking more about the snubs than the actual nominees this year, but
because
a lot of
the nominees, there are so many snubs.
Crazy, yeah.
But I will continue to talk about this movie, Nosferatu. I have never done a 180 on an actor like Lily Rose Depp. I thought she was an untalented nepo baby that had no right being cast in any movie, and then it turns out she's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
She's absolutely fantastic.
I didn't even know she was in
movie.
Nosferatu.
She's the main character.
Yeah, I think she deserves to win by a long shot. And yeah, the fact she wasn't even nominated.
Crazy.
It's crazy. Like, all the stuff she does is like, oh my god, her face just does that. What is going on? And down
the
to
possession scenes?
Possession
scenes? My god.
I'm just like, she goes so forward, and it's so like, she's like, it's, they don't need help with any sort of like, use this thing to levitate her, use this to make her face look not right. She can do that. And then even when it's like more subtle emotion, you can tell when she's I'm forgetting the name of the other family of Aaron Taylor Johnson, but when she's near him, you can tell the entire time from her facial expression, she's aware he doesn't like him, but aware that she has to play nice because whatever. And just from like very subtle movements. But yeah, like such incredible range, and she's like so good at the small things and the huge and the large things. Like, yeah, I think she deserves to win this year. If she was nominated any year in the past 10 years, she would deserve to win. Like, that's maybe the biggest snub.
It's wild. I mean, her performance is next level in that movie. It's and I understand that gothic horror is not going to be everybody's cup of tea, so I can see why it didn't get as many nominations as it should have, in my opinion. But her performance is undeniable.
Cynthia Erivo, whatever. I'm not Wicked's biggest fan, but she is really great in it. She is something else.
You know what? I'm saying it. I think Demi Moore is going to win.
That would be great.
That would be cool for The Substance.
Yeah.
I also do always like seeing, like, the point of The Substance is kind of this, but seeing older women nominated and win, because it is always like most women that are nominated, I forget the ratio, but it's something like 60% are under 35, whereas for men, though, it's like 65% are over that age, and it's like, well, what's going on here? Why is this happening? So it's nice to see someone. She's not even older. She's like, but that's the point of the movie as well. So it's nice to see her being given the respect and the recognition that she deserves. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, she's 62.
I thought she was younger.
Yeah, I would have thought she was younger too.
Admittedly, she has had work done as well, which is kind of funny that she's in the movie with, but No comment. No comment. As long as she doesn't get any more after being in that movie, or else it's like, girl, did you even watch the movie? Like, what are you doing? But I guess, like, whatever. You'd be she's a victim of being pressured to do that. Anyways, I digress again.
Alrighty. Moving on to directing. And this is where I have my biggest snub. No, I feel like it's where you also have your biggest snub too.
I have two biggest snubs.
Two biggest snubs, okay. But nominees for directing are Jacques. It's a French last name. I don't know how to say it. But Audiard. Thank you, Jamie. For Emilia Perez, which, as we talked about, is French for Mexico. Sean Baker for Enora. Brady Corbet for The Brutalist. Coralie Farget for The Substance, and James Mangold for A Complete Unknown. This is a wild list, I think, because James Mangold just does not deserve it at all. Sean Baker, like I said, I think that this is because Enora won't get much. This is kind of where I could see them giving Enora something, either this or the writing category, because Sean is nominated for both of them, so he would get something. And yeah, Emilia Perez, we've talked about a bit. I've seen a few clips from Emilia Perez where it just looks very strange. Like the one clip I saw, like I don't know if they're at like a nightclub or something, but it's like an illuminated dance floor sort of a thing. And it's just very strangely shot, I felt.
It looks
maybe that's also
film.
The style. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It just looks, but maybe that's a style or something. Like I don't know. I haven't seen all of it, so I don't want to fully make a call there.
I don't know what the budget was like either.
Yeah, but
Sorry,
it was huge.
Sun went
huge.
down.
It was big. Yeah. Here's my main thing though. When Dune Part 1 was nominated for everything but directing, and everybody got mad because Denis Villeneuve was once again snubbed, the Academy heard that. They knew. And here we are with Dune Part 2, and they didn't nominate him again. This man has not directed a bad fucking film. He's fan-fucking-tastic. He's Canadian too. Shout out to Denis Villeneuve. We absolutely love him. But he deserves to be on here, deserves to be nominated. He deserves to fucking win. And he deserves to win above everybody else, I think, in this category. And I'm just very, very upset that he is not in this category.
Yeah, it's bullshit. It's straight up bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, he was. I feel like it must be the release date of this movie that has knocked it down so much.
Yeah, I mean, probably, but in another universe, this would be a stacked list. If we had him in here, if we had Robert Eggers, like,
I know.
what is going on? This is so not stacked, even though I feel like we had a year of incredible movies. Looking at this, the only, like, okay, actually Sean Baker, kind of goated. I do really like the directing in Enora, and it is something special and something different. But I do feel like Coralie Farget, I'm so sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. That's a deserved win. That's such a clear deserved win. That's such a, like I said, surrealism has not had its moment here yet. And this type of surrealism I have not seen before, except, I said it before, except in the Cat in the Hat movie, in the residential scenes in the Cat in the Hat Michael Myers movie. But of course, whatever, that movie has it doesn't keep that tone the whole time, but maybe it should be nominated. Who knows? Like with these nominations, maybe it would fit in. But I think that's such a deserved and such a clear winner, but I have a feeling it's going to be Mr. Emilia Perez, because I do not know what's going on here. If there's some type of familial connections going on, some type of payment going on, because it's so unrealistic, the amount of nominations. Like it's bizarre to me. It's bizarre to me.
Well, like, isn't there a list of movies that it has the same amount of nominations of, and it's just a wild list?
I feel like there's very few, and the rest, it's like, oh yeah, well that's an awesome movie. Of course it has this many. I might be wrong, but I feel like I saw.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Talk about it where it's like, well, that's a stacked movie. That makes sense. It would get this much. Like Schindler's List got like, whatever, 11, 12 nominations. It's like, yeah, okay, like that makes sense. And these other movies.
13 nominations. 13. So what other movies? 13 Oscar nominations.
I don't think it's as many as Return of the King. Return of the King is still the most nominated film in history. Yeah.
Oh, we have like, I looked it up. Gone with the Wind, valid. Forrest Gump, valid. It's been 30 years and people still love that movie. Same with Mary Poppins. you guys can hate on The Shape of Water, but I think that's deserved. I think whatever. I think that's so deserved.
I still have never seen it. You know,
You don't need.
It actually looks like there's way more than I thought. I wasn't assuming this many.
Ooh,
But most of them are old.
Benjamin Button, okay. But Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, Chicago, Shakespeare in Love, Joe's favorite.
In hell are we gonna? Oh, let's talk about Shakespeare in Love today.
You put them side by side. Amelia Perez has as many nominations as Oppenheimer.
That's actually hilarious.
Yeah, back-to-back years.
Even these other movies,
Shakespeare
like
in
Benjamin
Love
Button.
won this picture. I'm starting to realize now that Amelia Perez could win back. This could be Shakespeare in Love all over again.
But the thing with Shakespeare in Love, or even like Benjamin Button being like, even if they didn't win those nominations, people would still be watching and loving those movies today, even if it's not everyone. Like those movies kind of, at the time, it's known they're going to withstand the test of time. Like there's other things they had going for them. I really think if Amelia Perez wasn't nominated, nobody would really know about it. Like very few people would have went to see it and have cared. Whereas these movies, like even without that, they kind of held their own in some sense, be it artistic merit or something else. I think that's what makes it so bizarre is Amelia Perez was not getting recognition for any other reason. So it's weird for it to get this many nominations.
I agree. It's strange.
Guys, I'm going to watch it and then watch the next episode. I come back and I go, they're wrong. They're all wrong. It's goated.
Yeah, it is very, very strange. Like, especially also too when there's just so much of the community that's very vocal about it, but also too like just like even like critically, like it only has a 76 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Like most films are 85 and above usually. I think actually the second lowest film on the Best Picture list is A Complete Unknown with an 83 or something like that when I last checked. So like there is a big critical point difference there. Because this is like the average of hundreds of critics. Yeah.
And it has no fan base or cult following, because sometimes that happens, like with movies like this. But then there's like a group of people or people that are ride or die and really love it. I have not seen a single person defend this movie.
No.
Not a single person in person or online. Usually you're exposed to everyone's opinions online. I think I am. I just think everyone's opinion is that it was not good. Which is bizarre.
Yeah. But that happens too. Like if I recall, like once again, this is going back to the 90s, so I wasn't really alive. But I'm pretty sure and it wasn't as bad as this, but Shakespeare in Love was not that like loved or like thought that highly of either, which is why it was crazy that it beat Saving Private Ryan.
But people did like it, and people like it nowadays too.
I should watch it.
No. I see people it. I see people post.
Let's watch it and let's all talk about Shakespeare in Love. Let's do it. Let's have a fucking episode where everyone hates Shakespeare in Love as much as I do.
I've seen many
truly
edits
believe
of it
that would happen.
Where I'm like, oh, it looks pretty. This actually looks nice. Like I don't know what's going on with the movie, but this looks interesting, captivating.
It is set during the Renaissance, so yeah, it does have that
things like that
nice Renaissance.
Done poorly. The coloring looks nice. Like it all melds together really well. I don't think you could fabricate an edit or a compilation of Amelia Perez that would make me feel that same way.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is like I've seen nothing positive about it, and everything I've seen of it, I can't find anything positive.
Okay, wait. Interesting. I just looked up some things. Anora has quite a few nominations. It only had a budget of $6 million. That's quite a testament.
Way.
It is
holding its own against these with such a small. Because there's other movies I'm like, why was this not nominated? I'm like, oh, it was a smaller budget. It didn't gross as much. I'm looking up. Yeah, Anora also grossed $34 million. That's pretty good for $6 million. But
yeah, I think also too, like I'm Still Here and Nickel Boys, which are also nominated for Best Picture, which we're going to talk about in a moment, are also smaller budget films. I don't know if they're as small as Anora, but I know that they're definitely not as big as Dune Part 2 or Conclave or A Complete Unknown.
Yeah.
I guess before we actually list the Best Picture nominees, can I talk about these snubs that I'm referencing that have
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So this movie I loved. I think it deserves to be nominated for multiple things. I think it deserves to win specific ones, but it should be nominated for Picture of the Year if Anora is, because it had a bit larger of a budget, 10 million. Okay, that's like double. It made about the same with box office. I saw the TV Glow.
Yeah.
And I feel like
No, you talked about that one too last episode, right?
Both
of you guys
to
did?
a lot of people, and it also is very unique and different, and like signifies another direction that film could go in the future, where it's different and interesting and has something to offer.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Amelia Perez deals a lot with the trans community, and the fact that the trans community hates that movie and saying,
they're also
"Oh,
very
okay,
vocal about it."
Yeah, the one that actually represents, that actually represents us better is I Saw the TV Glow. So, and the fact that that's gotten no publicity is ridiculous because it's a great movie.
Agreed.
Because everyone really liked it. Critics and people watching it. It is just very much made by artists and not made by people in the industry. I think it has the best soundtrack of any movie in the past, I don't know, 5 to 10 years, or like that I can think of. So Alex G did that soundtrack. I think he deserves the Oscar. And the fact he wasn't even nominated, like, it's such an incredible, unique soundtrack that does everything. I don't know. It's so good, and it's something people listen to still, but also associate with the movie and such specific emotions. Yeah, I also think maybe like perhaps like say like design, some type of design nomination would be very justified for this, be it costume or lighting, something like that. Like really interesting when they have like the two different worlds. I don't know, it's done good. Out of curiosity, I looked up the budget and box office of A Different Man because I know people really like that one. So its budget was 110 million. It only grossed 18 million. So I suppose that could be a reason it's not nominated. Another small snub I forgot to mention for the best actresses. Where is Hunter Schafer for Cuckoo? She was phenomenal in that, and that did do well, and that did get great like critical recognition. Like yeah. So when people make the argument like, oh, they just have Amelia Perez because they want a trans woman nominated, it's like, well, no, because there's a much more clear deserved option there.
Yeah, I mean, there was a stronger performance by a trans actress.
Yeah.
Just for also reference on your score point, Jamie, the nominees for original score this year are The Brutalist, Conclave, Amelia Perez, Wicked, and The Wild Robot.
Give it to the robot.
Yeah. I don't think anyone else deserves to be nominated, let alone win. Like, what is going on? Where's the Dune soundtrack? The one that's like,
that's ridiculous, man. Are you serious?
It's
the
so
Dune
iconic.
Soundtrack not being nominated is ridiculous.
Why are they not performing the Dune soundtrack live on stage with Timothée Chalamet just yelling, "I am Paul Morbius"?
What? That's best score soundtrack. It's different for best song. Certainly, best song could be like certainly Wicked will, or I guess no, because it's not original song. So Wicked couldn't be nominated, right?
Yeah, no. The nominees, like besides like the one from Sing Sing, like there's El Mal from Amelia Perez, The Journey from the 6888, I haven't even heard of that, Like a Bird from Sing Sing, Mi Camino from Amelia Perez, and then Never Too Late from Elton John, Never Too Late. Apparently there was like an Elton John, I don't know if it was like a documentary or what it was, but it's and Elton John is nominated for a song for this thing. I had no idea about this.
Well, I just hope he wins because like I like Elton John, and maybe he'll get EGOTs. Maybe he'll branch into theater and TV. Who knows?
Does he not have an Oscar already for The Lion King?
Oh my gosh, you're so right. He probably does.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he does. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure he does. Give Elton John another.
He's only retired like 5 times. Let him do this, and then maybe he'll retire for real. Okay, wait. Also, looking things up, I'm just checking the costuming because I was curious about that. The nominees. Okay.
Yes.
This is like the closest valid nominee list I've seen. So costume design. We've got Wicked, A Complete Unknown, which I think that is a valid, like whatever. They did good. Nosferatu, yeah, really good. Gladiator 2. So many things were historically inaccurate and like kind of unreconcilable in that movie, but the costumes were not one. And Conclave. That's another one where it's like very specific. And with these, like, you have with these movies where it's in a specific time period or in some specific setting, so you're limited to the costumes. when they're still able to do other things with the costumes to get other things across, I feel like that is, I think of it as a constraint, not like, oh, well, they have to match this. I feel like if you matched it perfectly without adding something else, it's nothing special.
Yeah.
So I'm glad Nosferatu got nominated, but where's Dune 2? That's the one I was looking for. That's what I
It
was
did get
looking for.
nominated for production design.
But what about costume design?
not
Did you see
costume,
any of
yeah.
what like Princess Irulan was wearing? If you asked me what's fashion going to be like in 20,000 years, I'd be like, I don't know. But if you showed me that, I'd be like, God, how would anyone have known that?
And what Christopher Walken's wearing when he comes in at the end.
Oh, I forgot Chris. It's so funny that he's in it. That's so funny. But even just, yeah, like the costumes of all the different cultures and how it is so reflective of these cultures. And I mean, I'm so Dune pilled. I'm on like the fourth book. The outfits are very seldomly, like, it is not really described. It is like just the cultures and stuff. But the fact that it is exactly what I would have pictured in my head that's in the movie, it's so, from like what someone's wearing, you know exactly what culture they belong to, and you can immediately guess like, oh, that's a brutal, unforgiving, like competitive culture like that. This is more, I don't know. It's so good. So the fact it's not nominated, like, I don't know what's going on. Yo, say with the substance. Why is the substance not nominated? That yellow trench coat alone deserves to win. So maybe this is the most justified list, but I still think it's silly.
Another very good list. Like, it's like these smaller categories that are just like actually sane. Like production design, it's The Brutalist, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Nosferatu, and Wicked. And I want to shout out Conclave because they're obviously not filming like in the middle of these like high tourist Italian piazzas or in like these churches or like in the Vatican, but it looks like it. Like, it is so well done and put together, these sets overall, and it was just really, really great. So I wanted to shout that out. Dune, of course, just everything looks great right there. Wicked, the production design was really, really cool, especially like the train that was actually, like, they actually fucking built that fucking Emerald train, which is super cool.
The production design is wicked. I mean, it's great. Yeah, I didn't even intend for that. The production design is great, and then they slapped a good old gray filter over everything.
Yeah,
but the production design is masterful.
That's what has me like so taken aback from that movie. Is it looks so bland, and I think it should be so vibrant. Like, what is going on?
I noticed that in when we were seeing the movie at Cineplex, because they show like the little like behind the scenes stuff in the pre-show, and so they show them like, oh, filming the Emerald Train. And I'm like, that looks completely different than the trailer. Like, that is a different shade of green.
Yeah,
that looks entirely better than in the trailer.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, the idea of Dune 2 getting nominated for production design is funny. I do think it deserves it, but I can see it being like, just imagine like kilometers and kilometers, like thousands, millions of kilometers of sand, and like maybe dunes. And like legitimately over half the movie is in a desert.
It's not even worms in the when they're riding the worms.
Yeah,
they brought real worms in for that.
Yeah,
but don't get me wrong, like the CHs and all the other, like, whatever, it does deserve production design. There's something else I was gonna say for production design, like it's left me.
Nosferatu is nominated.
Yeah, what you're gonna say about Conclave, that's another example of where like that's a constraint that you want it to be as accurate as possible, but with the production design, you still want to be able to convey other things and be like, oh, look at this huge empty space that makes this guy look small. It's so intricate. But you can't warp it as much when it's a literal real place. In Nosferatu, you're limited by time, but not by space. Where in Conclave, it's like, these are specific real buildings that many people have been to and know exactly what they look like. And you cannot be like, well, I'm actually going to use Northern European Renaissance art. You have to, somehow depict exactly what you want within these finite constraints. So I feel like, I don't know, that's people, I feel, get it wrong because they think it's just matching. Like, it's impressive if you have something to match and you match. I feel like that makes it harder to. It does.
Anyways. I agree with you.
And plus, I would like to add for production design, Willem Dafoe and 1,000 Real Rats.
1,000 Real Rats, yeah. I think
1,000 Real Rats.
There's an interview of him and he likes them. He's like, yeah, I don't know. It's like kind of nice when they were rats on set. 1,000 real rats?
1,000 real rats, apparently. That was the headlines that were going around.
But even if Nosferatu was just like, no dialogue, no story, just the production, you would know
Mhm.
it's gothic horror.
Absolutely.
You would feel uneasy, and you would feel like it's dirty and there's a plague going around. You would feel there's some supernatural entity going to steal your wife in her dreams or something like.
Mhm.
Oh
So
yeah, it's
yeah.
it's fantastic.
Alrighty, let's do it. The last one, the big one, Best Picture. The nominees are Nora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Amelia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked. We've talked about each of these, so I don't feel like I have much more to say about any of these films. I think The Brutalist is probably going to win.
I agree.
For a snub, I think The Apprentice should be on here. My personal pick would be Conclave. And yeah, that's really all I got. As for snubs, like, yeah, I really think The Apprentice is kind of my only like really big snub. Everything else I feel like besides Amelia Perez is valid for what it's gotten and how popular it's been. And also a lot of these were on my top 10 list of the year anyways. So
I think it's a mistake if anyone but Dune wins. I think that's something that decades to come, people will look back and be like, how the hell did this movie beat Dune Part 2? Especially because it's lacking in so many other nominations. It's crazy. Of course, I want The Substance to win, but I seriously feel Dune 2 deserves to win by a long shot. Like, it's so far ahead the other movies on this list, and I feel so many different in all fields. And I think it's such a grandiose, huge movie that I think is a classic.
We also didn't bring this up, Jamie. Dune Part 2 is not even nominated for adapted screenplay.
Yeah, it's not.
What's going on? What is
Which
going
is like,
on?
how the hell?
How the hell is it not?
But someone figured out how to adapt Dune, and you didn't nominate them.
Adapted flawlessly.
They
I have to say, I have a theory.
In Dune 2, it's very different. They changed like the story, like it's very different. But I think that's because they didn't want. They think it'll go over film audiences' heads.
And I think it's also because they're ramping up to Dune Messiah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Dune itself has 10 books. I think what they did makes it. I for real think it's because you have to have Zendaya be the one to be like, this is wrong. Otherwise, if you see like they're happy he won, too many people would watch the movie and be like, yeah, they won. Like you won't get that what he's doing is wrong unless you see. Anyway, that's a side note.
I was gonna say, I have a theory though for why Dune is so shafted and like this. And I don't know if you guys remember. Well, obviously we all remember the writer's strike, but Dune was supposed to come out last November and come out during award season last year, but it didn't because of the writer's strike. So they pushed it back from late 2023 to early 2024. And I think because of that timing and where it was, and it was so early in the year, I think it got forgotten about and overshadowed by everything else. I think if Dune came out in October, November, it would be a very different story.
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier this episode, right? I think that's absolutely the case, is that it was an early release in the year.
But yeah, it just feels silly. It just feels silly for that to be such a big part of it.
Yeah.
But I feel like a few of these other movies also came out earlier. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. I was checking out The Substance. So like, I feel like I saw that in the early summer, but no, it was September. So, yeah.
I'm going to put Nosferatu. That got snubbed.
Oh, yeah.
It did.
Swap up Nosferatu for Amelia Perez.
Absolutely. What an upgrade.
But guys, where's Better Man? Why is Better Man not nominated?
Where's the monkey?
I think it's because they have an issue with
Did you guys actually watch it? Like, I'm genuinely curious if you guys actually watched it.
No, but I have seen the one clip, and I can easily say it has the best dance number of the year, which is pretty good considering a lot of musicals came out this year.
So an artist that I follow online was posting about like how much he really liked it. And then I think it was on Taylor Tomlinson's After Midnight. They were talking about actually like a bunch of people, how they really liked it. And I'm like, I've actually like heard people saying that it's actually good and enjoyable. Yeah. And I'm like,
I'm treating it like the next Morbius, bro. I think it's too hilarious. I think it's too much. That he made a biopic about himself while he's like 50, and he used a monkey, and he makes himself be the coolest guy that gets all the hot, sexy women, and his songs are really just like, beep, 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 beep. And he's not an international success. He's like, I don't know why it's such an internationally funded, like it's funny to me. I find the concept funny.
It is
Maybe it's
very
an okay
funny
movie, but the comedic aspect of it will always overshadow that for me. I don't think it will be redeeming enough to
I think that's
make
fair.
it not funny that he's
Plus,
like, I am a monkey. Okay.
there's a monkey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Put the monkey movie on the list.
There's other movies that like
I did
know.
see We Live in Time, but I believe I said this in the last episode we did. Like, I don't think We Live in Time deserves to be on here. It was just okay. However, I do think it's better than like Amelia Perez, though, like in that sense. Also, too, just to talk about, because we said we were going to talk about it, we kind of touched on it. The Brutalist has use of AI, and I think if you're using AI in any way in your movies, you should be disqualified. Like, it's like people, it's going to become more and more popular, and it's sad the way it's going. I really think somewhere in the industry, some type of body that recognizes needs to put the halt and say, if there's any evidence of AI, like, you're done. Like, I know you guys love Wallace and Gromit, but the Wallace and Gromit Blu-rays upscales came out just a few months ago, and they heavily used AI in those to upscale them.
Yeah, but the people making the movie didn't do that. That's going to be whoever owns the rights to the movie trying to make money. So,
and I will say, my big thing with AI is because AI has been used in movies for decades now. Generative AI.
Yeah, generative AI. Yes.
I will specify, like, because I feel like obviously it's a buzzword, and but like there's a specific way, like Spider-Verse's use of AI is not what we're talking about here.
Yeah, it's like anything that's an algorithm, people are like, it must be machine learning. Joe, I think that upscaling is actually just going to be an algorithm, and it's not learning, and it's not based upon these huge data sets. I think it's the same as when you use like Photoshop and you're like, yeah, let's make it backlit, and it can do that. Or if you enhance a fuzzy photo, that's not really AI because it doesn't use machine learning. It depends
on if it's taking it into a database and using it to learn and then rip people off or not at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Which we'll never really know the full truth about that for a lot of those. When it comes down to that. So I think that's, you're right. That is a bit of a gray area, and it's hard to disqualify all entirely.
I'm just hitting you with an actually, because so many people call everything AI, and it's like, that's an algorithm. That is not, you don't know what that, it's just a buzzword people like to overuse. But I think if it's something like an algorithm used that, it's not taking away someone's creative capability, it's just making it easier for people to do things. I guess that's a slippery slope.
Yeah, there's a fine line, but I totally get what you mean.
Yeah. Yeah. I had something else. Oh, I feel like there should be some way to acknowledge horror movies in the Academy Awards. I guess the Golden Globes have best musical / comedy, and that just is kind of like anything that's not a drama. Right? But even the Golden Globes just have those. They don't have any other distinction, right? They don't have best horror movie. Yeah, because there's so many. Like this year, there were so many good, like, quote unquote, other movies that are maybe a bit too weird or unsettling to be acknowledged. Like maybe that's part of the reason Nosferatu wasn't nominated, or like whatever. I love Yorgos Lanthimos, so I think Kinds of Kindness should have gotten something, but it doesn't have anything anywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I don't think The Brutalist should be allowed to be up here. It should be disqualified for what it's done. And I also find out that Adrian Brody thing, I'm even more upset. But I think it is going to be the one that takes it, sadly.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. I guess my gripe with the with AI being used for his accent, it's the exact same gripe with putting actors and actresses in fat suits.
Yeah.
When it's like you're using something artificial to mimic something someone else has, so why did you choose that actor? Just to have the name to slap on a poster? Like, they didn't. I guess with the accent it's more because it's a testament to their abilities, whereas a fat suit is just someone's body, so you think they have the capabilities, we want but not the physicality. Okay, so maybe that is different, but I feel the same way about
either be Christian Bale and lose a bunch of weight and put it on for the role, or don't, guys.
Or just find a fat actor. They exist.
Yeah.
Believe it. Fat people exist in real life, believe it or not.
And I think there's certain areas where it's a fine line, like even with that, like The Whale, like I think
that was really what I was about to say.
I think that's
is justified because it's a guy who has struggled with this. It's someone who has a personal connection to that. He's not a small guy anymore. And there's a lot of personal there's a lot of personal allowance there that I think that makes it okay. But if you're doing Hairspray, if we're getting Hairspray next year, we're not getting Hairspray next year, but if we were, and you're sticking an actor in a fat suit again, go fuck yourself. Get rid of it. You missed the point of the whole movie.
Well, also The Whale too, it is a bit, I don't want to say exaggerated because there are like real people with those struggles, but like it is meant to be in some areas like a bit more over the top to convey that point as well.
It's very much about that. So I think it would be difficult to I
cast.
think it's different when that's not the point of the story. Someone just is fat, and it's like, okay, so then why did you cast that actor? I just think it's taking opportunities away from people. It's my same gripe with them casting beautiful people for everyone. It's like, I'm not going to believe that this story set in 1700 that everyone had lip fillers and like eyelash extensions back then and like perfect symmetry and perfect teeth. Like, what is going on here? What's happening? I don't know. So it's just a matter of like, why did you do this? Why did you cast this person? Just have the name on it, or because of their skill?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we need more ugly actors and actresses. Staff.
Bring back uggos.
Literally, like it's so needed. Like
they're all so beautiful now.
Yeah.
Even the weird looking ones are beautiful.
Yeah. Like people being like, "Oh, Anya Taylor-Joy, so unconventional looking." What the heck are you talking about? What's going on?
What?
Yeah, that. Anyway, that's just a side note about my gripe with Hollywood being too beautiful.
Yeah.
But let's next time join us as we break down everything toxic about Hollywood. JK, there's not enough time in the world. Should we take a moment to acknowledge that we all hate this toxic machine and are sick of it, but we host a podcast about it?
Yeah,
well,
we just want to move on. We just want to move on.
I hate what's put out by the machine. That's why I'm not crazy about The Brutalist, because I feel like that is exactly what you're expecting Hollywood to do in the movies. Like, it's just kind of formulaic.
Fucking Hollywood movie.
Oh, it's so Oscar bait. Like,
I'm better than that. I'm not like I'm whatever, but I like things that are like feel like art. Don't just feel like yeah. So that's why I'm like, I don't care if what names you have on the poster. That shouldn't matter. It should be about what that person brings to the role. So I hate that being a prerequisite that holds movies back and affects their like storytelling abilities. Or I don't like ranking things on artistic merit, or their artistic merit. Like, so I feel like it should be more about that. And I hate these other things that have to hold these art forms back.
Absolutely.
And I believe we've said our piece.
It would seem so.
Yes.
Well,
so Amelia Press.
The Oscars are at the beginning of March. We'll be back sometime soon, and maybe we'll break down I don't know. It depends how the Oscars go. Maybe we'll break them down. Maybe we won't. We've got ideas for other episodes, but thank you all for tuning in to not only a new year, but a new episode of 21st Century Cinema, as we continue with our hiatus of only a few episodes until this fall, where we'll be coming back in October with monthly episodes. Very exciting. And finally put our extended season 5 to bed. We've also got some ideas too for changing up the podcast a little bit. Jamie and I will be in person. So there will be lots of opportunity. Noah, we have this really great idea of like having like a little like podcast area set up and then like doing it and then getting you on like a screen sort of a thing so we can all three do it together. But yeah, I think that would be really fun.
I like the idea of Noah being like a CRTV, like one of those old big chunky TVs on like those carts that they would bring out in elementary school.
All I've ever wanted.
I was going to say that sounds like right up Noah's alley. Yeah.
I
not even like you're calling in from that, Noah. We have transferred your conscious into the CRT, and you are this CRT now forever.
We could dress it up and put like a silly hat on top or like a cape or something.
That's true. That'd be wicked.
Gosh, we'll get a really big "Shut Up, Joe" shirt and put it on it, and then
there you go. Hey, listen.
Every episode, Noah's wearing that shirt.
Not every episode, but the last 2 for sure.
Representing the brand.
You know why? It's because we've been recording these on weekends. I should date this episode. I haven't done that in a while. February 2nd. So that's a weekend. So close. It's a Sunday, and it is 5:38 Newfoundland time,
which is 1:07. Mine, we're technically 1:08, I guess, but mine says 7. 1:07 p.m. PST. Yeah. It is 1 o'clock for me and 5:30 for you.
3 a.m. for me, which is crazy. Ontario is something weird right now, guys. I don't know what's going on.
Ontario is fallen out of time.
If it was 3 a.m. for you, I'm just trying to take a look right now. Current local times around the world. If it is 3 a.m., you would be in. Where is Dhaka?
Spell that.
DHA. Oh, Bangladesh. That's where it is currently 3 a.m. Is
Oh.
Bangladesh.
There you go.
Oh.
What was I? I was dating this with a purpose, though. I forget what it was.
It's February 2nd for you guys.
Because you're wearing.
It's still like September 17th here. 2009.
Jamie just saw The Substance and just got back from the theater. Noah, you were talking about your shirt, the Shut Up Joe shirt. That's why you were dating the episode.
Yes, it's because we've been recording these on weekends because time and money and all that fun stuff and work. And so what I will give this may sound like a cheap plug for the Shut Up Joe shirts, but they're so friggin' comfortable. So I'm here in my sweatpants. I've got greasy hair, and I'm wearing my Shut Up Joe shirt because it's comfy, and I like to wear it to relax. So
I love that you're wearing my face to relax. It makes me so happy.
If you need a reason to buy a Shut Up Joe shirt beyond Joe and his whole personality and whatever he's got going on over there, it's got to be that it's comfy, it's cozy, it's good to nap in. I had a couch nap today, and the
hoodies are also very comfortable as well too.
I don't have one of those, but I'm sure they are. If it's coming from the same bit, it's a nice fabric, and it's also durable. Like this graphic, and I don't wash my things inside out like I should. And it's held up. I can still see Joe and his handsome little face here.
That's going to be the big thing, which is kind of holding up with me launching our website and moving our merch over. Because when we launch our new site, we'll be moving our merch over. Is making sure we get the same quality. Is kind of figuring that out to make sure because we do have good quality stuff.
We got good shit. That's the plug.
That's the plug. Well, thank you, Noah, for plugging the merch, so I don't have to. But since we're plugging Noah, anything else you want to plug?
Not quite at the moment. I guess St. John's Shorts I'm still on the board for that. So if you're interested, St. John's Short Play Festival every September. Come check it out. It's fun. It's a bunch of different short plays. I'm in it a lot as a participant as well as a board member. Also, Newfoundland Sketch Fest is coming up in May. We've applied for that. We don't know if we're in yet, but considering how well our show went last year, we got a good chance. So it's a lot of fun. We like to play around with the sketch comedy format a bit, so look out for that.
Are you doing Shakespeare by the Sea this summer?
Oh, not sure. That's still, there's no applicants or anything out yet, applications that way, so we'll see how it goes. Maybe not. I've been there for the past 3 years, which is a pretty long time in this in the theater community, so maybe not, but I may be back. We'll see how it goes.
Very nice. And Jamie, what about you? What's going on in your world, and how's Blossom doing?
We're doing stuff. We're doing good. We're still perhaps we have an EP to be released soon. I do not have a date. I will probably be saying the same thing in a year's time. But we're still doing shows around GTA, and now we're expanding into like the London scene and stuff. We still have a website with merch and information on it, and that is that.
I've also been listening to a lot of Blossom. You guys are fantastic.
Oh, slay!
Listen to Blossom.
You can also hyperlinks in the description of every podcast episode, including the old ones. I went back and edited our static stuff. The Blossom information to stream Blossom, it's all in there. So yeah, check out Blossom, guys.
Hell yeah!
I am yet to see a live Blossom show, but my wife has been, and she hasn't shut up about it. She loves. There might be some bias there, being Jamie's sister and all, but she does very much enjoy the live show and keeps saying we should go to a live show. And I'm like, well, we should live in the same province first, and then we can go to a live show. Yeah, and I don't have too much going on. I am working actually, so I'm working on a project that I can't talk about right now, but it may or may not have some relation to Bethesda Game Studios. Yeah, this is real. This is real. I haven't told you guys about this
Elder
yet.
Scrolls 6.
He's finally gonna release. Joe, release it, please. Give us Elder Scrolls.
All I can say is, I am working with a certain community on something that will be coming out in this October that I'm very excited about. That I will reveal more details when I can closer to, but this is something that has just kind of all started happening over this past week, and it's really exciting. It's a project I'm really excited about. Otherwise, I am still doing the usual comic book stuff over on TikTok, over at Who Killed the Peacemaker. Same thing on Instagram, where I repost when I remember to. And you can always check out more of 21st Century Cinema. We are on Patreon, patreon.com/TFCC. Our one patron is Noah. Come join him. He wants a friend over there. We're also streaming on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, wherever you get your podcasts. But hey, if you're listening right now and you've loved this show, give it a rating. Those ratings help us a lot. It helps the algorithm show us more. It makes us more popular. So feel free to drop 5 stars in there. Tell us why you love Jamie and Noah and why you wish I would shut up, because that's what people like to do. But we'd appreciate your review. And also make sure to check out the podcast over on Instagram at 21st Century Cinema. And over on Facebook, you can search up 21st Century Cinema or at TFCC Podcast. We will be moving away from Twitter/X because of everything that's happening. We'll probably get on TikTok now that just Reels are becoming so big. I need to make us one, but we'll probably make a TikTok. So stay tuned for that soon. And I don't know, is anyone else on Blue Sky? Is Blue Sky worth getting on? I haven't made the shift myself.
Sky. I made the shift a few weeks ago. And I will say this about Blue Sky. There is much less right-wing trolls. I've actually yet to see one, which is wild. I've been on there for about a week and a half. Mm-hmm. What I do find about Blue Sky is that why I moved away from Twitter is I was sick of having to see all the hateful shit in the world every single day just being thrown at me on Twitter. Mm-hmm. And now I've gone to Blue Sky, and I am getting a lot of people complaining about the hateful shit I was seeing over on Twitter thrown at me every single day. So I'm still seeing it. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping it'll be a little better as I curate my algorithm a bit more, but we'll see.
I was the social media I've been using. It's called like MySpace or something. Have you guys heard of it?
One. Yeah.
No, so I'm on MSN Messenger.
AOL.
I made the shift over to Threads like 2 years ago, being like, yeah, Threads is what's going to happen, and Threads did not happen. So
Blue Sky is actually active and has been for months, so I think it's going to stick out more than Threads.
Yeah, I do agree with you, but yeah, I just haven't made that shift. But yeah, follow us on Instagram and Facebook, which is where we do all of our posting right now, and we will be making a TikTok, and we'll also be putting up more clips of these in the video. One of my things to do for the new year is to get Jamie a new, very good quality webcam, so Jamie can also join us on these videos.
Great, but if we'll be in person together in October, maybe that's not worth it, because
but not every episode is going to be in person. You will need a webcam.
Why won't every episode be in person? Am I not allowed at your house?
You're allowed at my house whenever you'd like. I just know that scheduling and everything. You also I'm not going to be like, Jamie, you're coming down to my house. Like, it's a 45-minute drive for you. I don't want to be like every single episode you have to be down here. Sort of. I mean, your family also.
I probably will be down there anyways. And also, I imagine if I come over, like Katie might have food or treats or something. So
that's true.
It might be like kind of worth
so excited to host. Mm-hmm. She's so
sometimes she bakes things pretty often. So like that might be.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The only reason why Noah didn't get so many baked goods while he was here was because it was our fucking wedding. Like next time Noah visits, he's gonna be like fattened up like no tomorrow. Like
I do a pretty good job of that myself.
Alrighty, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.